Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show. You be quiet. And turn podcast, everyone. Welcome into today's program. And today on the show, we are going to be doing computer technology news, headlines, and ladies and gentlemen, we have a ton of fun ones. We even have a little bit of a guide, depending on how actually, you know what, this might actually make a really good segment for a different segment, so we're going to save that. Not even going to tell you what it is, just keep the mystery alive. So let's go ahead and just close that down. But hey, we have a ton of different headlines, articles, and more. So if you want to find that out, computeramerica.com. That's where you'll find everything, past shows, future shows, everything you need to know. And of course, wherever podcasts are heard, you can find Computer America there as well. Now, let's go ahead and get started with computer and technology news, brought to you by Computer America. All right, we're going to go ahead and start with maybe some Activision Blizzard news. And talked about this a little bit before on the live stream. If you want to see us live and, kind of a little bit behind the scenes, twitch.tv/Computer America, or of course on social media, give us a like, give us a follow, all that good stuff. Now, we talked about this a little bit before, but we'll cover it again. Multiple stories here. And we'll start with this one about Nintendo. Because, hey, people can't help themselves. They love that juicy gossip. And, well, Nintendo of America head responds to distressing situation at Activision Blizzard. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you did not know this, did you know the president of Nintendo North America, his last name is Bowser? Yes, Mr. Bowser. Very, very impressive. But no, hey, that's completely besides the point. Responded to the news of Activision Blizzard and their CEO, Mr. Bobby Kotick, and his involvement with covering up the sexual harassment cases and scandals and all that kind of thing. And of course, over the past year, Activision Blizzard has had a reckoning with a number of very senior, heck, even sometimes founding members of the company leaving altogether because of the allegations and what happened in things like the Cosby Room. And it's really just kind of awful how some of these employees are treated, not just women, but of course people of color as well. It's been an ongoing issue, and it's always eye-opening as these things further develop. Well, looks like Nintendo has thrown in, because obviously we have the follows Phil Spencer from Xbox also throwing this in as well, and I think PlayStation has also had statements, and by and large, not going to bore you with the details, but saying that the president has been following the events with Activision Blizzard and saying, I find these accounts distressing and disturbing. They run counter to my values as well as Nintendo's beliefs, values, and policies. And also, on top of that, he said in an email, every company in the industry must create an environment where everyone is respected and treated as equals, and where all understand the consequences of not doing so. That was included in the email. Bowser reportedly sent the letter on Friday, November 19th, to all levels of the company, including the internal development teams like Retro Studios. Nintendo of America later confirmed the authenticity of the email, saying that we can confirm the content of Doug Bowser's internal email, saying that we have nothing further to share on the topic. So, Nintendo doing a little bit of I guess it's because it's almost like one of your huge coworkers, and you can't just say, oh, hey, we're not going to comment on this. It's a big deal, and their stance is, this is awful, we don't support this, and we're going to do better ourselves. Now, the response to all this criticism from Activision Blizzard, they have a spokesperson saying that they have a misleading view of Activision Blizzard and our CEO. And yeah, it's just misleading and not representing the company correctly. Obviously, there have been further walkouts to ask for his resignation, and Kotick has even said that if these problems aren't handled quickly, then he would consider stepping down. Some people have claimed that, of course, he would step down before he's fired because he gets a massive golden parachute. And from memory, I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $100+ million. So if this gentleman leaves, steps down, and says, I don't want to be CEO anymore, he gets $100 million for doing so. And for those who are confused about the purpose of a golden parachute, it's because there's not many positions that are a lateral or upward move. If you are a driver, if you are a construction worker, if you are any job here where there are millions, thousands, if not millions of openings across the world for your position, just go to another company and start working for them. When you're CEO, there's only a handful of companies. There's only 200 or 300, and all of them, by and large, have a CEO already there. So they get these giant golden parachutes to say that if they get ousted or if they leave the company, they at least have enough money to sustain their current level of, the way they normally live. And they expect that the job search for being a CEO can take, years and years and years. So they need that money to live off of in the meantime. Of course, when you get up to the level of pay that CEOs have, years and years and years of job search means that you get $100 million to sit around and, really wait for someone to come to you. Is it fair? Absolutely not. But hey, it's the way that corporate America works. Now, with that being said, we respect all feedback from our valued partners and are engaging with them further, an Activision spokesperson told Engadget. We have detailed important changes we have implemented in recent weeks, and we will continue to do so. We are committed to having an inclusive, diverse, and safe workplace. There you go. And so there's that story. Let's see. There's this other one that we're just going to include in the show notes, but not really mentioned here. And this one as well, which I lightly touched on, saying that if Bobby Kotick can't solve these problems quickly, then he's going to step down as CEO. That's reportedly what he said. And then this one as well, the latest anti-harassment response from Activision Blizzard is a responsibility committee. Now, who sits on that board? Let's see. The committee will launch with just two members, saying that both of whom are existing independent board members. They, in turn, will report to the board and key Activision executives, the duo who will work with an outside coordinator and consultant following the company's settlement with the EEOC, but there's no mention of involving regular company staff or outsiders who aren't part of the court agreement. Really goes to show that they're still trying to move the pieces around just a little bit, but not do a top-down restructuring of the corporate ecosystem, I guess. As such, it won't be surprising if the committee does little to satisfy critics. Employees and others have called on Kotick to resign, among other more substantial changes. There's also low confidence in leadership's ability to police itself. Jennifer O'Neill, Blizzard's first female leader, allegedly left her position feeling that she was the target of discrimination by a seemingly irredeemable company culture. And if I recall that, she actually left when, she was like the co-CEO or whatever it was of Blizzard. And, imagine working your way through the ranks, going, doing all the work, all the effort, doing it as well as anyone else, if not better. And you finally make it to the top, and then you find out, oh, I'm being paid like 30% less than my male CEO counterpart, who is, not just another CEO, but like the co-CEO. And yeah, they went saying, hey, there's a pay discrepancy. To his credit, the other co-CEO went there and tried to really fight for her and, say that, hey, she needs as much pay that I get. I think he even offered a pay cut to give her a pay raise, and they refused. When she tried to leave, or when she went to go leave the company because of the pay dispute, they said, okay, we'll match. And that's the kind of culture. They want to look like they're changing, but change is slow, especially when you don't remove that many people. So this goes, I like that sound right there, nerf male privilege, and yeah, there you go. But yeah, Activision has been run through the ringer on this one. They need to make more changes, and honestly, one of the first things that a lot of companies do when there is a big systemic problem like this is remove the CEO. The fact that Bobby Kotick is still seated where he is, man, that is impressive. So there you go. Okay, there's that story and all that stuff. We'll push that to the side because the developments in that are not ending. They're going to keep happening. So we'll keep an eye on it. Now with that, how about this development? And this made some people upset, but you can definitely see where Dodge is coming from. Dodge to phase out its Challenger and Charger muscle cars in a shift towards electric vehicles. What the heck are young men going to buy with their giant military paychecks if Chargers aren't there? I have no idea. But the gas-powered cars will cease production in 2024. This by Steve Dent over at Engadget. And saying that the new electric vehicles may use the 60s triangular Fratzog name and logo, Fratzog, to differentiate them. The first concept arriving in 2022 will be an electric muscle car revealed in the next 4 or 5 months as a high-performance, drivable vehicle. The next model, a plug-in hybrid, will be the new car, but not a Durango as some expected, according to Kanitsky's. And looks like they're definitely using the logo. And yeah, these cars are they're being very coy about it, but clearly they're moving away from the V8 and into the world of electric vehicles. Die-hard muscle car fans might not take the news well, though they can't deny the superior performance of EVs. Dodge previously advertised that the Challenger and Demon trim as the quickest 0 to 100 miles per hour production car in the world, with the rather large caveat that it excludes non-mass-produced vehicles, supercars, and hybrids and electrics. There you go. They acknowledged that the announcement could create friction, saying that I'm juggling knives because I've got to keep two different huge factions happy because at some point those two factions will converge. Saying that the problem is no one knows when they will converge. My job is to provide confidence over the next 24 months. That's what we're going to do. So clearly he sees that electric vehicles are the future. I mean, it has to be. There's regulation in place saying that you can't sell combustion engines by like 2030 in Paris, France. You can't sell, internal combustion engines in California by 2035. They need to make the transition. And when it comes to these muscle cars, they're fan favorites. The Challenger and the Charger, they're V8s. They're souped up. They sound very iconic, but yeah, it's got to change. And looks like he's just jumping on board sooner rather than later. And 2024 is not that far away. So good on them. But yeah, they're going to start phasing out the combustion engine. Not bad. Okay, let's see. So there's that. How about we move on to... This should make some people happy in Texas. And honestly, it really does make me happy because this moves silicon production out of Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia is still going to produce so many chips. The production capabilities of Taiwan, and all those countries down there is not going to be exceeded anytime soon. But articles like this make me hopeful. Samsung is set to announce a new $17 billion advanced chip plant in Texas. That's right, in the city of Taylor. If you're not familiar with the city of Taylor, they're right outside Austin, Texas. So Austin's looking even more attractive. So $17 billion later, 1,800 jobs. The new plant will reportedly be located in the city of Taylor, about 30 miles from Austin, where Samsung has an existing facility. The new site is roughly 1,200 acres in size, making it larger than Samsung's Austin plant. There you go. The announcement could come as soon as 5 p.m. today, so we're still looking for a bit of that when Governor Greg Abbott is due to make an economic announcement. However, the plant isn't expected to actually start producing chips until 2024. I would actually be surprised if this project gets up and running and everything is running smoothly by 2024. I would honestly be surprised. So they said that the city of Taylor specifically has also offered Samsung incentives to locate its plant there, which reportedly amount to to property tax breaks of over 90% for its first 10 years. Okay. We just commented on this the other day that when we did the segment about the lobbying groups and how governments are local governments especially are bending over backwards trying to get the economic development that tech companies can provide, but really at the detriment of the local economy. That's 10%. They're going to be working with 10% of the taxes that they're supposed to be working with. And that's for 10 years. So truly, they won't see a big revenue increase for quite a while. But honestly, I'm not surprised. Samsung is a giant in the memory chip manufacturing game, but it'll likely use the Taylor plant to manufacture advanced chips for other companies based on their designs. Of course, Samsung has produced chips for both Qualcomm and NVIDIA. The expansion comes as global semiconductor shortages continue and cause major problems, with Intel saying that they're going to open up 3 new locations, 2 in the US, 1 in the EU. Samsung now saying that they're going to open up 1 in the US. I think Qualcomm mentioned that they were going to open up 1 in Nevada, I want to say. It's really nice to see that companies are looking to produce in other countries, even though the economic cost is going to be up there. It doesn't matter. We need more places to produce more chips. We're seeing that everything from heated car seats to televisions to smartphones to computers to toys to gaming consoles to obviously computers, all of these things need these chips, and those things aren't going away anytime soon. Trust me, there will never be an excess of computer chips. Now, in a response, the Biden administration is attempting to bolster U.S. chip production. The Senate recently approved $52 billion in subsidies for new chip-making plants. There you go. The chip-making industry has production capacity increase planned, but many of the new plants won't be online anytime soon. TSMC and Sony's new $7 billion one in Japan won't see production until the end of 2024, and TSMC's new $12 billion plant in Arizona won't see anything until 2024 as well. So, yeah, it's these companies are really trying their best. So, yeah, it's another one to Texas. Texas has really been trying to be the new Silicon Valley. So, we'll see what those 90% tax breaks kind of get the area. But hey, jobs are jobs, and they're investing $17 billion, and that's definitely going to help the economy. Okay, so there's that story. Let's go ahead and continue here. This one was a little fun, and hey, it wouldn't be a fun show without everything crashing. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and restore all this stuff. So hopefully the music doesn't start playing. That would be very unfortunate. Let's see. So I think this one up here, this, yep, that music's going to start playing, and this music is going to start playing as well. That's like the first time this has ever crashed. You know, that's okay. Okay. Stop it. Just stop it. Okay. Now, it wouldn't be a fun story without a little NFT goodness. Check this one out. Lord of the Rings themed cryptocurrency gets thrown into Mount Doom. Now, obviously the author's having some fun with it, Miss Jane Croft over at Financial Times, but think about it. What would you name a cryptocurrency based on Lord of the Rings? Well, short of coming up with something on my own, they had to take it down. And the unfortunate end to JRR token project. Not Tolkien, token. The estate of J.R.R. Tolkien, the author of Lord of the Rings, obviously, has successfully vanquished a cryptocurrency that styled itself as the one token to rule them all. They said that they launched the JRR token cryptocurrency back in August with a website that features rings, hobbit holes, and a wizard with an uncanny resemblance to Gandalf. But obviously, the estate that owns the rights to The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and all that fantasy, well, never gave permission, and they filed a complaint with the World Intellectual Property Organization. It noted that the cryptocurrency's website domain name infringed its trademarks. Tolkien's novels have been made into a trilogy, obviously, and if you don't know about The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings movies, good news. You got some great movies to watch. Bad news. You might have been in a coma, and good luck with the recovery. Now, they said that the panel decision concluded that there was no doubt that the developer was aware of Tolkien's work and created a website to trade off the fame of these works. Now, a solicitor at the firm of Mayor Blackburn, which acted for the Tolkien estate, said that this was a particularly flagrant case of infringement and added that the estate was vigilant about protecting unauthorized parties from taking advantage of Tolkien's name. Now, in the past, the Tolkien estate has sued tourism and merchandise companies for making use of the author's name in literary works, but this is the first time they've had to take action against the cryptocurrency. Yeah, it's JRR token. Trying to read here if there's anything else we really need to cover, but nope. Clearly, much like the cryptocurrency that popped up after Squid Games, and really that only took 2 or 3 days, there was a cryptocurrency that popped up in the style of Squid Games. Yeah, it had no association whatsoever with the show or the intellectual property or the company behind it or anything like that, but instead it was just a quick rug pull, and I'm sure that this one was very, very similar. So there you go. It's easier to imitate than it is to create. Now, let's see. I think that for our next story, and we're going to have to, maybe cut this a little short. Actually, we can get pretty good. How about this update? So we covered this past couple of days, the Buy the Constitution by Constitution DAO. And now that they've lost, there's been a lot of whining, understandably. There's been a lot of sadness that they didn't get it, but now there's a lot of confusion about the process now, because one of the problems is that today that roughly half the donors will have the majority of their investment wiped out by cryptocurrency fees. Meanwhile, disagreements have broken out over the future of Constitution DAO and the original purpose of the more than 40 million crowdfunded, and what will happen to the $people token that donors were given in exchange for their contributions. So this is something that I guess even myself, and read a lot of articles about this. I covered this pretty extensively, and I had to have it spelled out for me. They raised $40 million in Ethereum tokens. This was a donation. They even said that this should not be seen as an investment because you will never get your money back. Like, even if they had won, even if they had spent that $40 million and gotten the Constitution, all that would happen is that, let's say you sent in $100 worth of Ethereum, they would then trade that for $100 worth of people, or the the token people, and that would those tokens can be, or those shares can be used as voting rights as to what to do with the document. And so everyone just kind of gets to vote and decide, oh, put it in this case, do that with it, invest the money in this way, do that. But they don't actually get any monetary value whatsoever. They get to say that, oh, I am part owner of the US Constitution. And if they want to try to sell the people tokens, hey, that's completely up to them. But it only gives them a right to vote. It gives them no actual ownership of the $40 million document. This was never going to end well for anyone who donated the money. And I'm sure that people who put money into it had no idea. And okay, so there's all that problem. And then on top of that, these fees that they are now having to deal with, There's one person who tried to donate $200 worth of Ethereum. They were hit with a fee coming in, and they were going to be hit with a fee to have their donation returned. And they're seeing $90 of their $200 donation eaten up by fees. That's not the promise of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is supposed to be light on the transactions and quick and easy. It's pretty crazy. So with all that being said, and this article is going to be rather lengthy, but still, they said that these announcements had the effect of cratering the price of the now worthless people token, according to hundreds of angry messages on Discord. People's price is not currently tracked by any exchanges, but recent trades on Uniswap show it going for about 0.4 of a penny. So not much. As well as sowing confusion and anger within the community, many posters on the Constitution DAO Discord felt like the team was moving away from people tokens for reasons that weren't well explained. This also led to a bunch of arguments about the purpose of the project was and what the intention of the founders were, whether they were being scammed or not. And really, if everyone's sitting around in a Discord looking at each other and going, were we scammed? Odds are, yes, you were. And there's not much you're going to be able to do about it. So with that being said, by Sunday night, however, they announced that it would return to the original plan. This meant issuing refunds through Juicebox, as was originally intended, as well as shelving the idea to create the WTP token instead of the people. Now, one of the reasons for this revision to the prior plan was the decision to launch a new token and a new governance token. Requires careful consideration, time to incorporate, more community feedback and thoughtful planning, so on and so forth. They got called out on it. And, the article even includes some of the Discord screenshots, which is pretty funny. Yep, so in its How to Donate video, a member of the Constitution DAO recommended that donors recommended that donors add about $150 to $200 more than you'd like to contribute to their donations to pay for gas fees, which are transaction fees on the Ethereum network. Motherboard contributed a small amount of money to the project to see how this would play out in practice, and so they kind of outlined how it kind of worked. The authors bought $200 worth of Ethereum. Coinbase took a $3 fee. Then we had to send the Ethereum from Coinbase to MetaMask. To do this, we had to pay a $12 network fee. Then we had to send Ethereum from MetaMask to Juicebox, so-called gas fees, very wildly, and saying that in our case, we paid $75 in gas fees to contribute roughly $75 to the project. Of the initial 200 that we bought in Ethereum, $90 was eaten up in fees simply to donate to this organization. They could have done this in a much better way, but they didn't. And Motherboard was not alone, saying that the total cost and fees for donating to the project was nearly $1 million, which with much of the cost being borne by people donating relatively small amounts. And of course, in order to get a refund, you have to do this in reverse. So another $1 million is likely to come out in fees. It's pretty crazy. So obviously, meaning that people have ended up paying $18 for their $0 refund. And they have someone else getting 0.018 Ethereum, $76, and paying 0.0175 Ethereum, or $74 in fees. So they got $2 back when they were done. Yep. So some people, really, if it's less than $50, just don't do it, because you're going to owe money on the whole transaction. Now, obviously, they talk about other ways they could have done this, and while the debacle may well turn people off the idea of crypto crowdfunding, Constitution DAO is still being held up as a success by many. It did, after all, raise enough money and jump through enough hoops to go toe-to-toe with a Wall Street villain, though the Wall Street villain very soundly defeated them. So yeah, that whole saga is going to be burned into my brain. Very, very fun. Okay, we have time for 2 more quick stories, and then we have to kind of end this segment, get into the recording mode, and we're going to go ahead and record. But just real quick, Apple sues NSO. If you don't recall NSO, they were the organization behind the Pegasus software, the surveillance software that they put onto journalists, dissidents, and really anyone that the Saudi Russian government didn't like. The NSO Group's Pegasus spyware only aimed at surveilling a small number of people on multiple platforms. However, Apple stressed that targets are frequently activist journalists and other critics of regimes that routinely suppress political dissent. The company further accused NSO of flagrant violations of federal and state level laws in the US. Now, how much they're actually going to get from this, I'm pretty sure the NSO Group is incorporated in Israel. So, yeah, they do business with the U.S. How much they're actually going to get from this, I have no idea. But clearly, they were peddling spyware and malware that used known vulnerabilities in the known vulnerabilities in the iOS ecosystem. So by peddling in that software, by really just doing the wrong thing that Apple saw, and of course, really anyone else saw, they earned a living. They earned a lot of money. So Apple's also promising to donate $10 million towards groups advocating against or researching this kind of digital surveillance. It's further promising free engineering, intelligence, and technical help for the point of entry that they use to kind of put this out, to kind of put that there. Now, NSO might not have many allies. WhatsApp, for instance, accused NSO of enabling attacks on government officials and rejected the Pegasus creators' denials. And we've gone over the Pegasus Group's or the NSO Group's denial, saying that, we only help law enforcement. We only help those who are righteous. And then, of course, everyone goes, you knew who you were selling to, and you knew why people were buying your product. So not everyone is going to take kindly to them. So now, with that being said, let's go ahead and... Okay. Amazon and Apple handed a $225 million antitrust fine in Italy. And so, obviously, that has a lot to do with some of the other antitrust fines that the U.S. has also fined these companies on. The EU has also fined these on, and looks like now individual countries are now taking them to task as well for anti-competitive cooperation in the sale of Apple and Beats products as well. So there you go. There's that story, and I think we're going to cut out this last one. This last one is cool, but unfortunately, just a bit too long. Long story short, high-speed internet is now getting its way to Antarctica. Yeah, those massive underwater cables. They're getting one of their own, and hey, let's face it, it's a huge research outpost, and you can bet that they would love to use internet that doesn't suck. And they're getting it from New Zealand. Yep, they're running a cable from New Zealand down to the research base in Antarctica. So it's pretty great. They're going to get actual fiber high-speed internet and not just have to use satellite. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We have to wrap it up here, and stick around for the live stream. We're about to do an interview, and then we're going to go ahead and kind of end the stream there. But thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. These have been the headlines. We hope that you enjoyed it. And actually, wait, I need to, let's see about here. No, yeah, here, there you go. Yeah, little loud. Got to work on that. But yeah, everyone, thank you for tuning into the show. Catch more at computeramerica.com. You can find us live Monday through Friday. The Thanksgiving week, Thursday and Friday, we will have no show. Tomorrow we should on Wednesday, but hey, best place to find out is computeramerica.com, and of course twitch.tv/computeramerica. Until next time, have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye everyone.